So we are being controlled at the moment. Our economy is being controlled. Our policies are being not only controlled but forced upon us. Our legislation is not done by us. The laws are made by the regime in Delhi and enforced upon us. And forget about the development. We have multiple challenges. We have existential crisis. We have people, those who are in prisons, those who are intimidated, those who are in jail, those who are facing many cases. Behind that facade are multiple layers of reality, and which are, very scary. You have multiple such examples. Not only religious events. You just mentioned a religious event where they had or they raised slogans in favor of Palestine, which is a state policy as well. There is flags of Palestine, which is a state policy as well to support the people of Palestine. You see the Dalits and other scheduled castes being marginalized as well. You see Sikh community being intimidated, or steps being taken care against them, carried out against them. You need to find forces and allies with these oppressed sections of the society and create a force who would speak for themselves and speak against this regime, stand against this regime, and find ways to come out of this situation.
If you had to describe Jammu and Kashmir, the post-abrogation Jammu and Kashmir in one word, what word would you use?
Second-class citizens of Union of India, second-class citizens of quote-unquote mother of democracy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Maktoob. Today we have with us Jammu and Kashmir National Conference MP, Aga Ruhullah Mehdi. He won the parliament elections this year and became a member of parliament. Aga Ruhullah Mehdi ji is very famous for being vocal during his speeches in parliament, as he criticized the ruling government and spoke about the minorities across India. He also mentioned the economic issues and administration failures in Kashmir. So we expect nothing less. Thank you for giving us your time, sir. You being a Kashmiri politician, we would like to start from Kashmir itself. How do you assess the current situation in Kashmir? What are the most pressing challenges facing the region today?
There are many issues and many challenges that the people of Kashmir are facing. And all those challenges and issues come from the very fact that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are in a crisis of political identity, political empowerment, political existence. Everything that the people of Jammu and Kashmir stood for, and every reason which allied them with the Union of India was taken away from the people of Jammu and Kashmir in 2019. The entire existence of the people of Jammu and Kashmir was reshaped by BJP, and reshaped in a way where we became the second-class citizens of this union, of this country. The fact that the Union of India guaranteed us through its constitution that we'll have autonomy or our own issues and or our functioning, and we will have the dignity, we will have the right to choose our own course and shape our own course in terms of legislation, in terms of planning, in terms of policies. All those rights and that dignity that the constitution guaranteed us was snatched away from us, and the state was degraded into a union territory and then further divided. And with that degradation and taking away of 370, the entire control of the administration and legislation, policy making, law making was taken over by the center, that is Delhi, and the regime, that is BJP. So we are being controlled at the moment. Our economy is being controlled. Our policies are being not only controlled but forced upon us. Our legislation is not done by us. The laws are made by the regime in Delhi and enforced upon us. So these facts are followed with the crisis and challenge that we face today in Jammu and Kashmir.
About the economy of Kashmir, what steps are being taken to address the economical issues in Kashmir at the moment, and how do you see these efforts impacting the local population?
I mean, this is a question that should be posed to the ruling regime. What steps are being taken for the economy of Jammu and Kashmir? As far as we see it, and I personally assess it, that this regime is at a war with the people of Jammu and Kashmir on all fronts, on political front and on economic front. Economy of Jammu and Kashmir should circulate, opportunities for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, should create opportunities and economic growth for the people of Jammu and Kashmir. If you go around in Jammu and Kashmir, the people of Jammu and Kashmir see the unemployment on the rise, and that's unprecedented. Number of unemployment at the moment. The government jobs that should have been filled, the vacancies that should have been filled are not filled, and the vacancies are made open for people from all the states of the country. On the horticulture front, you would see that the backbone of the economy of Jammu and Kashmir is horticulture, and one of the major elements in the horticulture is apple production. The apple production as well as the sale of the apple is discouraged in the mandis and in the market throughout India. And on the other side, you see apples being imported from America and Iran, from outside the country, without duty being imposed upon them. As a result, the apples that are imported from the other countries are cheaper than the apples that are produced in Kashmir. Therefore, the market is taken over by the apple that is imported, and the economy of Jammu and Kashmir is discouraged. And you can see the same thing about walnuts, the nuts, and you can see the same thing about the handicrafts and allied sectors. The people of Jammu and Kashmir are being pushed to wall. There's one more example of mining. The mining, small-scale mining and manual mining that people would do in the rivers, both in Jammu and Kashmir, in Tawi River as well as Jhelum River and Sindh River. That's being, the locals are not being allowed. On the other side, it's being outsourced to bigger companies from outside the state, and they come with the equipments, heavy-duty equipments, which is taking away the employment opportunity away from the people of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as bringing in ecological disaster in Jammu and Kashmir. I can go on and on. Each and every sector is in the crisis in Jammu and Kashmir. The only showcase that they have is about tourism, but tourism is, it's not unprecedented. The numbers of tourists that we have in Jammu and Kashmir at the moment is not unprecedented. We have seen cycles of good tourism, good influx of tourism in Jammu and Kashmir, and it's been happening for the last 10, 30 years. We would have bad periods, we would have good periods of tourism. But those tourist activities are, focused or centered in a couple of places, or more than, they are not focused in more than 2-3 places. These center of tourism activity is either Dal Lake in Srinagar, Sonmarg, Gulmarg, Pahalgam, that's it. But the entire population of Jammu and Kashmir do not live in only these 3 spots. The activity that happens, or concentrated in 2-3 spots. Beyond that, it's untouched. The economy of Jammu and Kashmir beyond these 3 spots does not depend on tourism. It's about horticulture, it's about agriculture, it's about trade, it's about allied sectors, it's about handicrafts. And you can see all that is discouraged. The locals are not allowed to carry out those activities. On the other hand, the people from outside, the sectors are being outsourced to the people from outside.
So, like you said, like you spoke about the tourism. Only 6 to 8% of the tourism contributes to GDP. There is no cap on the tourism in Kashmir. Do you think it is affecting the ecology in Kashmir by, like, we have seen heat wave in Kashmir this year. The weather is extreme in Kashmir. Do you think that the no cap on tourism and the developments where they cut roads, mountains to make roads and infrastructures for tourism only in the name of tourism, do you think it is affecting the ecology of Kashmir?
You can go and see for yourself worldwide the places which are ecologically sensitive are being controlled, are being managed in a way that the ecology is not disturbed. And you can see a cap on how much influx you should have and how much influx you should not have, and how much and what kind of infrastructure should be built and what kind of infrastructure should not be built. As you said, nothing of that is being taken care of in Jammu and Kashmir. The ecology is being disturbed, is being destroyed, both in terms of, taking infrastructure where it should not be taken, which is not good for infrastructure. The roads that are being taken into jungles, and the jungles are being, forests are being, those areas are being deforested, trees are being cut, and the ecological balance of that area is being disturbed for the sake of infrastructure. Instead of green jungle, natural jungle, you see the concrete jungle coming up. You see, with no cap on the number of tourists, you automatically have more number of vehicles coming in into Jammu and Kashmir and the places. And with more number of vehicles, you have the carbon footprint. And you could see the use of plastic, use of many elements which are, not good for ecology. And as a result of that we contribute a lot in Jammu and Kashmir towards global warming. Instead of, having a cap and managing and controlling for the sake of ecology, for the sake of climate, you see the ecology being disturbed in Jammu and Kashmir, and infrastructure being developed, which in terms of politics and in terms of political spectacles is important for this regime in Delhi. Therefore, as you said, I agree with that. The ecology of Jammu and Kashmir is being tampered with and is being disturbed.
Adding to the tourism question only, there have been several cases and of the videos that have been going viral on social media about the liquor, alcohol use publicly in Kashmir when it is illegal. So, from having alcohol in Dal Lake to having alcohol on the road to Amarnath Yatra, people have tried to stop it, or in e-rickshaws. How do you see it, and how do you expect it to be controlled or changed in the country?
I see it as an cultural invasion. They want to bring certain things in into Kashmir or in Jammu and Kashmir which are not culturally otherwise acceptable in Jammu and Kashmir. They want to turn it the way they would want to see it, and the examples that you quoted are a part of it. They realize that people of Jammu and Kashmir in general and people of Kashmir in particular are very sensitive towards these things. For example, consumption of alcohol, and consumption of alcohol that too on streets, and then as a result of that, unruly behavior of those who consume it. Because they know that people of Jammu and Kashmir are sensitive towards it, and it's unacceptable among the people of Jammu and Kashmir in particular. Then therefore they purposely want to bring it and make it a point that this thing becomes a normal in Jammu and Kashmir. And people of Kashmir are pinched on this account also. They are, disempowered, they are pushed to the wall, not only on the political front, but on the cultural front as well. They want to change the entire identity of the people of Kashmir, of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, their behavior, their culture, their values, their norms, how their society functions. They want to change it. They want to control it the way they want it. at the moment, the administration is the facilitator for all these things. We can only come out and, speak about it and against it. But the decisions, unfortunately, have to be taken and are being taken by the administration, which is directly controlled by the regime in Delhi, which is not accountable to the people of Jammu and Kashmir, which is not elected by the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Therefore, they do not care and they do not heed to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. They do not care about the sentiments, the aspirations, the values of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. They only care to the commands of the regime in Delhi. Therefore, this is a fight which we need to fight alongside our for our political existence, our political fight. We need to fight on the cultural front as well, and let the world know that we do not accept this behavior. We do not accept this, this fact that people can come out and openly drink on the streets and then behave unruly. This is not the way Jammu and Kashmir functions. I, for an example, as an individual, have submitted a bill in Lok Sabha, Parliament of India, private members' bill, seeking for a total ban of consumption in Jammu and Kashmir. That's what I can, as an individual member of Parliament, do. But as I realize, the majority is on the other side. The administration is with them. The decisions will be taken by them. But I am trying to fight it out legislatively, politically, and I hope the society also gathers its courage and starts, expressing their opinions and fighting peacefully and politically against these things that are happening in Jammu.
So when we talk about Kashmiri youth, we also must mention the increasing issue of drug abuse in Kashmir. So a lot of experts are attributing this to unemployment in Kashmir and the supply of drugs, which maybe the administration is not able to put under surveillance, where the drugs are coming from. How do you see that, and how do you think the administration should address the issue? Because a lot of youth is engaging in such abuse in Kashmir at the moment.
In a place like Jammu and Kashmir, where everything goes under the surveillance of the administration, which is, in terms of security, a very sensitive place, where you have a multiple layer of security, multiple level of check in every terms, physical, virtual check, multiple layers. I cannot, agree with the argument that the administration is not able to put a surveillance or control or put an end to the supply of drugs in a place like Jammu and Kashmir. Anything that moves in Jammu and Kashmir comes under surveillance. You have a complete security grid in Jammu and Kashmir, and well-established security grid. Therefore, I do not agree to the argument that the administration is unable to put an end to this. I sense a deliberate, I sense a part of policy for the regime at the moment to deliberately allow or facilitate the supply of drugs in Jammu and Kashmir and turn the youth of Jammu and Kashmir into drug addicts. There have been reports that this was done in Punjab as well, to turn the youth of Punjab into drug addicts and turn them mental handicaps in many ways, so that they're not in a position to challenge the status quo or stand for their rights. I sense the same in Jammu and Kashmir. I cannot agree with the argument. I do not see a reason why a place like Jammu and Kashmir, where everything is under surveillance, the influx of drugs cannot be stopped. I sense a deliberate, facilitation or turning a blind eye. It could be either of the two. Turning a blind eye towards the fact that the use of drug and supply of drugs has increased in Jammu and Kashmir, and especially post 2019. I sense that they want to turn youth of Jammu and Kashmir into drug addicts. They want to turn them into handicap of sorts. They want to turn them into those individuals who can now stand for themselves, who cannot stand for their rights, who do not have a bright future.
So, there have been various claims about significant development in Kashmir since the abrogation of special status, Article 370. So, in your view, how has the abrogation actually impacted development in the region? Has it changed anything on the ground level? Has it brought the quote-unquote normalcy in the region?
Yes, in terms of development, it has changed many things. A kilometer of pedestrian pathway has been developed in Lal Chowk. Good-looking clock tower called Gantaghar has been developed in Lal Chowk, and around that you have a good fountain and all that. But Jammu and Kashmir is not all about those 2-3 kilometers. Jammu and Kashmir is beyond that. You have good LED lights that have been put up on the electric poles. Yes, that kind of development we see. But the fact is that the villages, the towns, the other parts of the cities of Jammu and Kashmir still lack development, and they are yet to be, reached out to. You could see the first couple of winters in Jammu and Kashmir where you didn't have electricity for days together in Jammu and Kashmir. Last winter was mostly without electricity, both in cities and as well as in villages. And on top of that, you were charged bills with, which were multiplied 3 times, 4 times. The households, poor households, which would be charged 500 rupees of electricity bill per month, this winter were charged and continue to be charged 2,500 rupees, as without electricity being supplied to. Electricity crisis, potable water. You can go and see the condition of the roads in cities as well as in villages. It has gone bad. It has gone bad to worse. Nothing has changed. No new colleges, no new hostels have come up. No power projects have come up. Nothing of that sort which creates employment in Jammu and Kashmir has come up. Beyond those 2-3 kilometers where you have, cosmetic, changes, that's Lal Chowk, and maybe in some places like Pahalgam or Sonmarg. Nothing in Jammu and Kashmir has happened. Yes, we have a highway which is coming up, but that project was started long back, and that's a continuation of that project. But if you go into villages, if you go into towns and other parts of the cities, nothing in Jammu and Kashmir is happening.
So there have been claims that all this in the name of development, and whatever is happening in right now in the name of development, from the roads in the Lal Chowk area, obviously, to the beautification of the areas around Jammu. So a lot of claims were there. It was for the delegation that came during the G20 summits of Kashmir, and also for tourists only. Do you see it for being for the local Kashmiris also? After the development and obviously the beautification of Srinagar's polo view, we saw during the first rainfall that month, we saw the area was flooded, and it affected the shops and the belongings that time. How do you see all of this development? And still the shopkeepers are complaining, all the roads are being developed right now, so everything is open and the dust is affecting their health. Plus the traffic is a mess right now. If you have to reach any hospital in the emergency, you have to take a detour and reach around, like, you will take at least a couple of hours, even if you have to cover a few kilometers. How do you see all of that?
You can start from Airport Road. If there's a couple of hours of rain or a day of rain in Srinagar, the Srinagar Airport Road would be inundated. We start from there and reach to the place that you pointed out, to Polo. A day of rain would inundate or flood the streets. as you said, and it's not what you, I mean, what we claim is what the administration itself says, that those areas that they have, I mean, cosmetically changed or developed is for the tourists. They are tourist hotspots, and they were primarily for G20 delegation, and secondly for the tourists that they come, and they sell it on their media, on their propaganda channels. They sell it, but the real development is, as you said, I mean, when you go around the city to cover a distance of a few kilometers, we'll have to wait for hours to get together because you'll be stuck in the traffic. And if you want to go deep into the city, or what you call downtown, every road is in a bad shape, and you will have to take bylays or take other roads to reach to your destination, which is otherwise a kilometer away from you. The fact of development, the true face of development, is beyond Lal Chowk, and everyone can go with camera and move around in the city of Srinagar as well as the other places of Kashmir, and see for themselves what the real face of development of Jammu and Kashmir is, and what they claim. The roads that were developed, the cosmetic changes that were made, were primarily for the G20 delegation and those tourists whom they want to bring and then sell that activity as Naya Kashmir or Developed Kashmir, which is not the representative of the fact what is happening in Jammu and Kashmir.
So, can we say that everything is being sold in Kashmir in the name of development, and while the real issues are being pushed under the carpet?
I mean, as you said, everything is being sold that everything is fine. And when they want to show everything is fine, they have nothing to show beyond those 2 kilometers. Around that clock tower to Boulevard Road, and maybe one or two more spots. Challenge them and tell them, okay, we'll accept your claim, but go with this camera towards the remote areas of Kashmir or interiors of Srinagar, downtown Srinagar. The real face of your quote-unquote development will be shown, I mean, will be exposed to the world, it's said. It's all claim, it's a facade that they want to create, and behind that facade is a reality, as you said, is a reality which is very discouraging, which is disempowered people of Jammu and Kashmir and pushed to a corner where, and forget about the development. We have multiple challenges. We have existential crisis. We have people, those who are in prisons, those who are intimidated, those who are in jail, who are facing many cases. Behind that facade are multiple layers of reality, and which are, I mean, very scary.
So, obviously during this election, a lot of things were being said, including there were talks about the prisoners in Jammu and Kashmir prisoners, obviously. There have been concerns about the large number of Kashmiri still being in jails across India. How do you address the issue of Kashmiri youth being held in prison, and what steps are being taken to ensure their rights and are protected, and there is a fair and transparent legal process? Because recently we have seen local court judges have been criticizing police for using PSA, UAPA, and declaring the accused, the quote-unquote accused, innocent after months. So who gives back them those months? And how do
I address it is, first of all, I spoke about it in my campaigning. I want to make it a conversation. I want to make it a conversation in open where people speak about it. At the second level, I had promised that I will go to the authorities and try for their release and put this issue with the authorities, both in Parliament and in the ministries. Soon after I got elected and I was here for this budget session, I met the Home Minister. I presented him the letter asking for the release of these prisoners. This is how I am going to address it. I am going to bring this fact, to the world, that we have prisoners who are without trials. We have prisoners who are not being convicted, and they are put behind they're put in jails for years now. It's been 5 years, 6 years now. We have prisoners who are in jail without trial, those who are without conviction, were not convicted. And on top of that, those who are not convicted, without trials, those who are in jails, are not in the jails of Kashmir or in Jammu and Kashmir. They are put in jails outside Jammu and Kashmir, where the weather condition is not conducive for them. And they are not accumulated, and they are not, developed. Their nature is not developed in a way where they can face that weather. And on the other side, that is economically a burden or a challenge for their, parents to every time come and go to the states and meet their wards or kids. And this is, this is not fair. This is unfair at many levels. I have put up this issue with the Home Minister, seeking for their release, or at least, those who are under trial, who are not convicted, those who are without trials, unless they are released, to be, and those who are convicted, to be shifted to the jails in Kashmir itself. So we need to, start speaking for it, start mobilizing opinion for it. I have been trying. I'll be speaking. As many times I'll be trying. I'll go to every door where I see that I need to go for securing their release. I'll speak about it again in the parliament if they are not released. The Home Minister told me that he'll get back to me with a reply on that. I'm waiting for that reply. I'm hoping that there will be a start for their release. And I'll be asking my party, that is National Conference, to open a legal cell to provide legal help to these people, or to give a fair, so that we can fight for it on multiple levels.
So, what is your stance on rampant anti-terror laws against local people like PSA, UAPA during religious procession like Muharram? How do you see that? Do you think these laws are applied justly and transparently?
The administration are using these laws on petty issues, on their whims and wishes. Any small issue which comes to their notice, if they do not like the individuals, they book them under PSA, book them under UAPA. You have multiple such examples. Not only in religious events. You just mentioned a religious event where they had or they raised slogans in favor of Palestine, which is a state policy as well. There is flags of Palestine, which is a state policy as well to support the people of Palestine. They were booked under PSA and UAPA. And you had examples of people being booked under PSA for celebrations on a result of cricket match. That's pushing beyond limits. That's extreme. They like using PSA and UAPA when it comes to the people of Jammu and Kashmir for any petty excuse or for any petty issue. And some judges have noted this, and some judges have told the administration and the police, this is not how you should apply PSA. You come up with PSA cases against those individuals who are not involved in such grave issues or cases. But I see it as a state or a regime policy to book in as many Kashmiris, as many people or youth from Jammu and Kashmir as they can under PSA and UAP, and destroy their future, destroy their present. And this is a war that's being played out and carried out against the people of Jammu and Kashmir. We do not have a hope, unfortunately, at the moment with this regime. But with India changing, with the results of last election, opposition getting stronger and stronger, I hope the opposition parties in the country pick up on these issues. It comes on their priority list, and they start realizing that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are being pushed to a corner, and they need to listen to the people of Jammu and Kashmir and come to the help of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, where they can speak for us. And we see some hope if the opposition starts speaking for the people of.
When BJP chose not to contest election from Kashmir this time, they said they want to win the hearts of Kashmiris. And also when Prime Minister Modi came to Kashmir earlier this year, even then he said he wants to win the hearts of Kashmiris. And the abrogation has brought peace. He spoke about the developments, about winning the hearts of Kashmiris with the use of anti-terror laws like this, unemployment, ecological issues, these quote unquote fake claims of developments in the region. Do you see the ruling party winning hearts of Kashmiris?
The facts that you quoted, to add to those facts, the entire administration of both police and civil of Jammu and Kashmir is being controlled by the people outside of Jammu and Kashmir. People of Jammu and Kashmir have no say over their administration and the policy making, in the running and functioning of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. And those police officers who are at the helm of affairs, and those bureaucrats and advisors to the level of Viceroy, whom they call LG, make it sure that the people of Jammu and Kashmir are intimidated, disempowered and threatened at every level. In terms of their job, in terms of their land, in terms of their land rights, in terms of their rights over resources, in terms of their culture, in terms of their existence. I mean, they are threatening the people of Jammu and Kashmir on every account. Ask Modi now, with this approach, how do you expect to win the hearts of the people of Jammu and Kashmir? Where you have turned an entire society into second-class citizens. I do not see a society who celebrate being second-class citizens and, create a heart-to-heart relation with a person who has turned them into second-class citizens. How do they win over the hearts who are turned into second-class citizens, who are disempowered, who are disenfranchised, whose cultural identity, religious values, social values are challenged every day, whose political identity is taken, existence is taken? How do you expect them to have a heart-to-heart relations with you? How do you expect to win their hearts? Nothing of that sort has been happening with which you can say that this is an approach with which they are trying to open ways where they can win the hearts of Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is a society which has a sense of defeat. They have surrendered, and I do not hesitate in saying that. They have a sense of defeat. They understand and realize that they are helpless and powerless at the moment, and they have surrendered. This calm is a calm of surrender. This acceptance of the situation, not acceptance, surrendering to the situation comes from the fact that we have been defeated, we are powerless, we are helpless at the moment, we have surrendered. I do not see any heart which can be won over, with this fact, which can relate with the heart of Modi, and which Modi can claim that I have won this heart. This heart is a defeated heart. This heart, the people of Jammu and Kashmir, is pushed to a corner where it has surrendered and is sitting in the calm of surrender, silence of surrender, and waiting for the day when people in India could realize that this is not the place where people of Jammu, space where the people of Jammu and Kashmir should go.
So, when you spoke about the Kashmiris surrendering at the moment, a question related to recent elections, obviously. So, we have always seen Kashmiris not voting as they voted this time. How do you see that increased number of votes in this election? Do you see it as a hope or a surrender or as a message?
I see it as a hope and as a message. And this is not the first time that the people of Jammu and Kashmir have voted in these numbers. People of Jammu and Kashmir have voted in more numbers than this. But this is the first time they have voted in good numbers in parliament elections. You could see the examples of people voting up to 70%, 60% in assembly elections. Even post-2008 crisis. In 2008, 2009, when the assembly elections happened, post-2008 8 summer unrest, we had the polling percentage which went up to 65%. After 2010, we had elections. In 2014, you had assembly elections, and you could see polling percentage going beyond 60%. People of Jammu and Kashmir have expressed electorally, and this time it was the first time that the people of Jammu and Kashmir took interest in parliamentary elections as well, and first time the polling percentage went to that extent in Jammu and Kashmir, and which is a very positive sign. I welcome this sign. We have been trying for this approach of the people of Jammu and Kashmir for decades, that we express ourselves democratically. We express ourselves through this institution. And coming back to your question now, how do I see this? I see this as an expression, and an expression of hope. You need to see why the people of Jammu and Kashmir voted, and people of Kashmir in particular. What was the mandate which came as a result of that voting? They voted to speak against the abrogation of Article 370. They came out to speak, express themselves against the decisions taken on August 5, 2019. So on one side, it's a great thing that they express themselves electorally, democratically. And on the other side, it's a hope for me that they stood for their identity, their political ideology. They spoke against the decisions that were taken on August 5, 2019, and they sent a message democratically to the world that we do not agree to the status that we have been pushed to, and we do not agree to the decisions that were enforced upon us on August 5, 2019.
So, if we look at the decision where most of the powers are given to the governor of the region, do you think it's fair to the elected CM of the valley?
It's completely unfair. It's unconstitutional. It's undemocratic. It's bad, wrong on every account. How in a democracy, elected administrator can have a say over, or power, or veto power over an elected administration or our government? This defeats the very purpose of democracy. This defeats the spirit of democracy. This defeats the constitution itself. The Constitution of India does not allow for a state being degraded into union territory in the first place. You degraded a full-fledged state into a union territory. Then you have come up with with the arrangement where the unelected LG will have powers, legislative, administrative powers over elected CM. And an elected CM cannot take decisions, legislative decisions, policy decisions, administrative decisions. How in a democracy is this justifiable? This is against the idea of this is against the democracy itself. This is against the values of democracy itself. This is against the spirits of democracy itself. This is not how democracy functions. This is a way to control the people of Jammu and Kashmir. And on the other side, you have, for the name's sake, you will have democratically elected government. So this is, the entire nation needs to understand, this defeats the very purpose of democracy. This is not how a democracy functions.
So, apart from controlling the population of Jammu and Kashmir, do you see there any other thing that that they took a decision like this in Kashmir?
When you control the administration, when you control the legislation, everything is in their control. They came up last time with an order that the people of Jammu and Kashmir should vacate their lands. They send notices to many people that you have more than what you should have. You have no land in your in your control or in your possession that is more than what you should have, and that the person who gives that order is a viceroy who comes from the other state, who comes from UP, and tells a landowner from Jammu and Kashmir who has had that land since ages, for hundreds of years, telling him to vacate that land. This is beyond intimidation. This is colonizing. They came they issued orders to evacuate land. They came, they tell us that the job that was guaranteed and secured for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, and only for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, not on the basis of religion, on the basis of geography, for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, now is thrown open for a population of 1,400,000,000 people. And you can go to the hospitals, you can go to the universities, you can go to the colleges. You have doctors, who have taken the jobs, who are from the outside the state of Jammu and Kashmir. You have professors, lecturers. In every institution, you have people from outside the state. How the people of Jammu and Kashmir become, unqualified? Are they totally, unacceptable in terms of qualification, that they cannot serve at those posts where you were forced to bring people from outside the state? How have you, are the people of Jammu and Kashmir with the merit completely employed? You do not have, from the pool of Jammu and Kashmir, you do not have people. Now you are forced to bring the people from outside. You have people who are unemployed with merit and qualification, but still you bring people from outside Jammu and Kashmir and fill those vacancies. Because you want to raise a population which is unemployed, which is depressed, which is disempowered. There's a war happening at multiple levels with the people of Jammu and Kashmir. I can go on and speak about these things.
So, two questions. Before I ask the next question, I have a question that came into my mind while you were speaking. Not just the employees are from outside Kashmir in the departments. There have been orders where scholars in universities cannot research on human rights issues, and some of the books have been taken out from their course, like Aga Syed, poet Aga Syed, and Bashar Afi's Curfew Night. Why do you think this is being done?
As I said, it's a war happening at multiple levels. If it's happening at political level, it's happening at economic level, it's happening at academic level as well. They want to, disempower, totally change the identity of Jammu and Kashmir. Every level.
Oh, sorry to cut you here, but the other thing they have done is they have completely removed the archives of a lot of newspapers in Kashmir. We have seen reports regarding that.
Archives of newspapers, archives of videos from YouTube, archives. Every footprint of the history of the recent history of Jammu and Kashmir has been taken away and is being changed. The footprints are being deleted. If you want to see what was happening in Jammu and Kashmir for the last 20, 30 years, you'll hardly get any archive. Now you'll have to dig deep and force yourselves, and you'll not find many things. They want to change it. They want to hide the truth. They want to, reshape the reality, the fake reality of Jammu and Kashmir according to themselves.
Can you say this is an attempt to rewrite the history?
As I said,
Also, not independent organized journalism or media organizations are being banned, shut for their reporting. Journalists are being harassed. So the archives are obviously not.
That's reshaping the fake narrative or fake reality of Jammu and Kashmir. That's reshaping. You called it rewriting, you call it rewriting, reshaping. They want to, change everything about Jammu and Kashmir. In terms of culture, they want to change your behavior. They want to change my behavior. They want to change your religious values, our religious values. They want to change how I and you, all of us, see the world. The viewpoint they want to change. They want to change how we dress. They want to change how we eat. They want to change how we read. They want to change what we study and what we do not study. They want to change what we should research and what we should not research. They want to change everything about us.
Going back to the earlier question before going on and on about this conversation. So do you think the elections, Supreme Court has directed them to conduct elections till September this year. Do you think, first, do you think it is going to happen? Second, do you think it is only going to be a show where you are respecting the Supreme Court's decision, considering they have given more powers to the governor of the region?
I am skeptical. Unless it happens, I'm not sure it would happen, because I do not trust them. They are using every excuse to postpone the elections. And if it happens, as you said, it's a toothless administration now. They have taken everything away from it. They have taken the legislative powers, they have taken the administrative powers, they have taken the police, they have taken the bureaucracy to, the administration, the elected administration, government cannot legislate on money bills, they cannot legislate on taxes, they cannot legislate on many things that has been taken away from them. So they might want to have a democratically elected government, but at the same time, as you said, they would want it to have no powers at all. But the people of Jammu and Kashmir want to express democratically at that level as well. There are political parties who are asking for elections. There are people at all levels, because they are fed up of this unaccountable administration. They are fed up of the behavior of this administration, which is completely alien to the society. They want to have an administration which at least they could go to and express themselves to. They are waiting for that opportunity to express themselves and to have an administration they could relate to. They might have an election, I'm not sure about it, they might, but the government will be powerless, and the controls will be in the hands of Delhi itself.
So there have been significant concerns about the suppression of dissent and restrictions on press freedom in Kashmir. Like I earlier said, one of the prominent independent media organizations were banned, Kashmir Wala, and many other journalists are harassed, summoned. Kashmir doesn't have a press club anymore. How do you, with the current situation regarding the freedom of expression and press in the region, and what do you think the measures are being taken to ensure that dissenting voices and independent journalism can operate freely and safely?
This question should be posed to the administration and the regime itself, to the government. What measures are being taken? That's what we ask. What measures are being taken? There are no measures being taken to allow free dissent, free expression in Jammu and Kashmir. The other way around is happening. Every stepping is being taken to suppress the voice in Jammu and Kashmir. No media is allowed to work freely, to express freely, to report freely. The journalists who would report the facts were either intimidated or booked under different laws, that's UAP and PSA. Their houses were raided, their families were threatened. Many of them still continue to face the charges. Many of them still continue to be behind bar or in jails. And the media houses, or whatever little media houses we had, the print media or the electronic media, either they are infiltrated or taken control over by the administration, or either completely banned. As you said, the organization that was completely banned. This is how they control the opinion in Jammu and Kashmir. At the political front, there was no open dissent, or a very little open dissent that was allowed post the abrogation of 317. No political party was allowed to carry out activity and express dissent or protest against the decisions of August 5, 2019. No political activity against the decisions of August 5 was allowed. No dissent. Only those political parties who are known proxies in Jammu and Kashmir, who would go and propagate in favor of BJP and their policies, and who would propagate in a way that the new status quo is fait accompli and acceptable. Only those political parties were allowed to carry out political activities. Only this election gave us an opportunity where we could gather people, create platforms, and through those platforms open the opinions and start the expression against the abrogation of 370. So at the political level, at the media level, at the journalistic level, there is no dissent which is allowed in Jammu and Kashmir. Therefore, we should ask them, I ask them, what measures are being taken to allow the free dissent, free expression in Jammu and Kashmir. There is nothing such in Jammu and Kashmir.
Though there are a good number of opposition MPs in the parliament, there are accusations that the plight of Muslims has been discussed very little in the House. How do you respond to that?
The Muslim MPs should, gather the courage to speak for Muslims. And with the fact that the Muslims in India are marginalized, they are othered, they are made an object for hate. And this is a wall from where to which you have been pushed, from where you have to push back. You cannot accept this status quo. You cannot accept this humiliation. There's an infringement upon your religious right, your cultural identity. In these crises, in this situation, the natural reaction of a Muslim representative is to reflect upon these facts and speak about these facts and speak against these, try to create opinion or a force against this situation. I hope they start speaking against, some of them do. They start speaking against these issues, and I hope while speaking they start organizing not only the Muslims but all those sections of the society who are being oppressed. You have scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, who are at the same time the Muslims are being suppressed. You see the Dalits and other scheduled castes being marginalized as well. You see Sikh community being intimidated, or steps being taken care against them, carried out against them. You need to find forces and allies with these oppressed sections of the society and create a force who would speak for themselves and speak against this regime, stand against this regime, and find ways to come out of this situation. You need to identify with all the oppressed sections, and that's a huge number. There's a politically very strong force if you create that force in India. But you need to think beyond your own political space. You need to think beyond your own political profile, that I'm an MP for 5 years. I should be secure in this space. My place should be secure. My party should be happy with this. My party should be happy with my behavior. You need to grow above all those things. Those Muslim MPs need to think about Muslims, the status of Muslims at the moment. They need to find about the facts about the other oppressed minorities, other oppressed sections of the society. Speak for them, speak about them, and create forces with them, and then find ways to come out of these crises.
So when you were talking about the culture in Kashmir, I couldn't help myself but think about one thing. The recent cases where heron is being targeted, the traditional cloak in Kashmir. A lot of employees are being suspended and being targeted with racial comments by their superiors, while the International Heron Day is being celebrated, or we see a lot of non-locals wearing heron and thinking that they are representing the region in a way. How do you see that? Do you think, can we say that it is directly or indirectly targeting the culture of the region?
I said it in my response to earlier questions. There's a cultural invasion. They want to change how we look. They want to change what we wear. They want to control what we eat. There's a cultural invasion. They want to reshape Kashmir in every turns. In in terms of what you wear, in terms of how you speak, in terms of what you eat, in terms of what your values are. And Farron is one part of that. And I agree to you, to your question and your opinion that this is a deliberate attempt to change how Kashmiri looks, how he speaks, how his or her culture is. They want to change everything. And this is something that's been happening for the last 4 or 5 years, and we need to fight against it. We need to stand for our identity, for our culture, and fight against these oppressions and invasions that are happening in Jammu.
So when we talk about these changes, there is this uncertainty or insecurity, we can say, in the people of Kashmir. Do you think all of these changes are adding up to that?
Sense of insecurity, yes.
That affecting mental health of Kashmiris, as we are already seeing the growing number of mental health issues.
We have a collective depression, and again, I do not hesitate in saying that. If you go and if someone goes for a research and wants to see how a collectively depressed society looks like, he or she should go to Jammu and Kashmir and see, and particularly in Kashmir, how a depressed society looks like. And every fact that's being pushed upon us, every change that's being pushed upon us, every attempt that's being made upon us adds to the sense of depression in Jammu and Kashmir. As I said, the people of Jammu and Kashmir they have a sense of defeat. They are taking these things that are being forced upon them, and this has a long-lasting effect, both in terms of mental health, both in terms of physical health as well as, and in terms of social and collective health as well. We have in terms of physical health, we have multiple cases of, we have the cases of cancer which is on rise every year. And I'm sure if someone goes for a research in Jammu and Kashmir and wants to see what the cause for the rise of cancer in Jammu and Kashmir is, the depression would be a part of it. And you have mental health in Jammu and Kashmir, which is the numbers are getting higher and higher every day. You have cases of people who are mentally not doing well, psychologically not doing well in Jammu and Kashmir. And the collective atmosphere that we have, the collective sense of disempowerment and suppression that we have is a factor which adds to the fact that I said. So these do have long-lasting effects in the society and in.
Before ending the conversation with the last question, if you had to describe Jammu and Kashmir, the post-abrogation Jammu and Kashmir in one word, what word would you use?
Second-class citizens of Union of India, second-class citizens of quote-unquote mother of democracy.
So lastly, how do you plan to address the needs and aspirations of the youth in Kashmir, particularly in terms of education and employment opportunities?
At the moment, I do not have a government. I am not running the administration. My job is to represent the people of Jammu and Kashmir in the parliament. I'm in the opposition in the parliament. The government is on the other side. The majority is on the other side. My job is to bring the issues to the notice of the government, and their job is to take decisions on that. I'll bring both economic and political issues, not only to the parliament, but to the knowledge of the rest of India, and try to fight for the betterment and for a better tomorrow for the people of Jammu and Kashmir, both politically and economically. And when I say economically, education is a very important part of that. I want to see educational institutions in Jammu and Kashmir. I want to see universities. I want to see high-class technical institutions in Jammu and Kashmir, like IIMs, IITs, and institutions like in Jammu and Kashmir, with which the already capable and wise and smart brains of Jammu and Kashmir can develop more and contribute to the development of the nation and in the nation building as well.
Thank you so much for your time, and it was wonderful talking to you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.